Prabowo Subianto is headed to become the next president of Indonesia. His plans for the future are bright. Before that though, let's take a look at his background. Prabowo hails from a military background. He graduated from the Indonesian Military Academy in 1974 and joined the Indonesian Army. He transitioned into politics in 2008 after he founded the Gerindra Party. He has been a significant figure in Indonesian politics, running for the presidency several times. He was a vice presidential candidate in 2009 and then ran for president in 2014 and 2019, losing to Joko Widodo in both instances. Despite their previous rivalry, Jokowi appointed Prabowo as the Minister of Defense in 2019, a position he held until his recent presidential bid in 2024. Now, he is becoming the next president. One of his plans, titled Indonesia Maju, or Developing Indonesia, includes ambitious targets like achieving 7% economic growth. He has proposed populist measures such as providing free lunches for school children, raising salaries for civil servants, police and military officers, and creating more affordable housing. A significant commitment is the pledge to eradicate extreme poverty within 2 years. Another cornerstone of his campaign is to continue the Nusantara Capital City IKN project, a plan initiated by Jokowi to move Indonesia's capital from Jakarta to a new location in East Kalimantan. Another strategy of Prabowo is raising the tax to GDP ratio from 10% to 16%, positioning Indonesia as a food exporting nation and potentially increasing the government's budget deficit cap and debt to GDP ratio. These moves would mark a significant shift from the current fiscal policies. He has also signaled an interest in learning from the economic practices of major Asian powers like China and India to foster Indonesia's economic advancement. Additionally, Prabowo has promised to continue Widodo's economic policies, such as accelerated infrastructure building, banning the export of raw critical minerals, and enhancing the role of the private sector in the economy. He also plans to implement populist programs like free school lunches for children and raising salaries for civil servants, police, and military officers, which are expected to impact the state budget. His foreign policies, on the other hand, also suggest a mix of continuity and change. While he indicates a degree of policy alignment with the current administration of Joko Widodo, Prabowo is expected to inject a greater security focus into Indonesia's international relations. His foreign policies seem to be guided by a strong sense of national security and self-reliance, with a particular emphasis on economic diplomacy and military strength. Prabowo has expressed a vision of transforming Indonesia into a powerful state with a well-managed defense and security system, aiming for the country to be self-reliant in areas such as food, energy, and water. This security-heavy direction is in line with his background as a military man and suggests an assertive approach to responding to geopolitical challenges. However, specifics about how he plans to implement these strategies remain somewhat vague. Prabowo's stance on global issues like the conflicts in Ukraine and Palestine and challenges such as climate change will also be key to watch. While he has expressed optimism about global cooperation, his past criticisms of foreign entities and emphasis on national sovereignty suggest a potentially more confrontational approach in certain areas. On a broader scale, while Prabowo maintains a China-friendly tone, recognizing the importance of China's role in Indonesia's economy, he also acknowledges the need for a balanced relationship with other major powers like the United States and Russia. He has affirmed that Indonesia will remain non-aligned in its foreign policy and not join any power blocs. On the challenges, Prabowo was faced with significant controversies and challenges. One major element of his past is the accusation of human rights abuses during his time as a military commander, particularly in East Timor and Papua. These allegations were serious enough to result in a US visa ban for many years, although Prabowo has consistently denied any wrongdoing. His military background and authoritarian tendencies have been a persistent point of connection, contributing to a strongman image that he has both embraced and sought to temper at different times. Prabowo's transformation from a divisive, populist figure to a more mainstream politician aligns with his strategic shift towards continuity and stability, likely influenced by his role as defense minister under President Joko Widodo and his integration into established political networks. The transformation, however, raises questions about his commitment to the democratic principles. Critics express concerns about a potential rollback of democratic reforms and erosion of individual freedoms and institutions under his leadership, echoing patterns observed during Jokowi's tenure. Furthermore, Prabowo's alignment with Jokowi, initially perceived as an electoral strategy, could evolve into a more complex political dynamic once in office. His long-awaited ascent to the presidency at the age of 72 suggests a personal ambition and urgency that might lead to a break from being seen as anyone's proxy or partner. This potential divergence from Jokowi's policies and approach could have significant implications for Indonesia's domestic and foreign policy.